Hey all, it's Josh here, coming back to you guys with game number 2 for the MESBG tournament that I attended. The next game that I ended up playing was against Dylan and his Erebor Reclaimed. If you guys tuned into the Any Heroics podcast, they recently shouted out this tournament, and Dylan was the person who came in third. And they went over his list and talked about it and stuff. So check those guys out if you want to see some thoughts on his list. When I saw this, I was not impressed because obviously, just based on my list, I need my Great Beast to do a bunch of heavy lifting for me. And he was able to do that for me in the first game because of the normal defense troops, but against dwarves with their defense 7, like I need 5s to kill them on the trample. So right off the bat, I know things aren't going to be great for me. Yeah. So here's a shot of his army. As you guys can see, looks pretty sweet. Well painted. Good job to him. And here is a shot of his list. If you guys want to pause it, you can have a look and see exactly what he brought. And then we ended up with pool number 1 for this set of games, and we ended up vetoing to command the battlefield. So that is what we're going to be playing. The biggest thing about this is the Maelstrom of Battle deployment zone, or deployment style, right? So we're not sure where our groups are going to end up, and we'll see how lucky we get with that. Going into round 1, I won the roll-off, and this is after our Maelstrom deployments. So I ended up getting all of my guys grouped together here. So we've got the Shadow Lords right here, the Witch King is here, the Witch King's group is down here, Shadow Lords is around here, and then obviously we've got the Great Beast. And then Dylan, I think he rolled a 2 for this group, so they ended up, I put them in the far corner over there, and then his other group ended up over here, right by all of my models. Pretty unfortunate rolling for him, but pretty good for me. So the luck continues. Going into round 2, it was good priority and not too much going on. Shooting from the Great Beast actually ended up killing a dwarf, which was impressive over this way. And then the Witch King doing Witch King things and kills the Goat Rider right off the bat with a black dart. Okay, so you guys can see this is kind of the state of things going into round 3. So Dylan, he is slowly moving these guys up, and then obviously these Goat Riders coming over this way, trying to move into the different table quarters. So this is what we're using to just mark the center of the board. So you guys can see that just 12 inches out from there. You don't count for anything, but after that is for our 4 quarters, which look something like this. And then over on the other side, oh, my face is in the way. So let's just move that for a minute. So his Goat Rider, who was originally here, decided to turn tail and run over this way. Didn't want to get black darted again. And then you can see he's just kind of moving models up, and he's bringing a few around the trees like this. And I have all of mine. I basically My thought was that if I keep this section of my force together and use it to concentrate on this section of Dylan's, I outnumber him by quite a bit, and I have the Great Beast, so I'll have to get a little lucky, but not too lucky to have it do some work, and then I can use the Witch King's stuff to kind of branch out into these other quarters, kind of like this. So let's grab the next one here. So yeah, you can see this is basically the top of round 4. If you like what you're watching and want to help support the channel, check out our shop at etsy.com/shop/Battlebond Miniatures, where we sell a variety of proxy models, terrain, and game accessories that can be used for an assortment of tabletop games. Use our discount code up on the screen for 10% off your next order, and don't forget to give us a like and subscribe. Thanks for watching, and now back to the video. So everything's kind of moved around and is where you can see it. We're getting ready to do some trampling and stuff over this way, trying to set all that up. And then the Witch King is coming out over this way, and we're just looking to get another black dart over onto his calves so he can't just send them to the corners. Although it's hard to see, but this right here is his other calf. And what ends up happening is I kill all of his calf except for this guy, who he just runs into the far corner and leaves sitting there for the rest of the game, which is fine by me. Yeah, so not too much happens over here. Some shooting kills an orc or a dwarf once again, and that's pretty much it. Moving on to round 5. So we have kind of this close-up of the Shadow Lord. He ended up transfixing Dwalin, who is over here. Can't see him on the other side of the Great Beast, but that's where he's hanging out, so that he can't really do anything. It was good priority, but the dwarves being slow, they basically just kind of braced for the trample from the Great Beast, who ends up going this way and just gets stopped by the dwarves. Yeah, like I said, really bad matchup for me. He needing the 5s to kill was a really big deal for this guy. So you can kind of see there is the other cavalry model over here, and I end up getting it surrounded and killing it. So again, yay for me. So here's kind of the overhead for this round. So you can see I'm still spreading out, trying to take up as much space as I can in the corners, or the quarters, sorry, I mean. The Witch King ended up way out over here, but did black dart the knight that was over there, or goat rider, I should say. And yeah, here's the Great Beast stalled by a bunch of dwarves. This is round 6. And yeah, so the Witch King, after he did his black dart over here, he ran back around over here because there is, I think, 6 or 7 crossbows hanging out right here. So he didn't want to get shot by them. Yeah, we can see Great Beast over here. So I had priority. Beast does nothing, gets stalled. The transfix from the Shadow Lord right here fails, which is pretty unfortunate. And then I actually use the Witch King. So here you can see the state of the failed transfix and kind of what's going to happen. I use the Witch King to start picking off crossbowmen, because I really need to start working on breaking him to stop him from being able to move guys into the different quarters over here. So you can see he's kind of slowly advancing, and he ends up spreading out. So a couple go this way, a couple go this way. Going into round 7, we have dwarf priority. You can see the goat rider that was over here got killed, and my orcs are kind of moving up on this way to hopefully do a little bit of supporting. The Shadow Lord ran back around this way. He ends up transfixing Dwalin, so keeps him at bay. Okay, so this is kind of where everyone has ended up after moving. The Shadow Lord is obviously run away over here, get out of range of any combats. Dane was actually over in this area and did a heroic combat and had to spend might to kill the orc he was engaged with. So that was lucky for me. And then the Great Beast takes a wound from this combat here. And he actually, I forgot to mention, he took two wounds last round as well. So he is down 3 wounds. And this is the round in which he actually failed his courage check. So he's going to be under my opponent's control for round 8. And then we can see kind of an overview of the board. I sent a bunch of orcs and the Numenorians over to tie these guys up, as well as the Witch King. Sent him into combat there too. And then these guys are over in this quarter to hold it. And these guys are also in the quarter to hold it. So these dwarves right here, they're not outside the 12-inch bubble from the center. And then obviously all of these guys are in that as well. So right now they aren't scoring anything. Oh, and yeah, the Witch King, he absolutely flubbed his rolls and couldn't do anything in the combat over there. Round 8 with the Great Beast under my opponent's control. He won priority, so the Great Beast got to go first. I tried to spread out as much as I could, but he ends up going in this direction like that. And spoilers, he kills a bunch of my models. And then over on the other side, we can see the unsuccessful combat that happened over here. But we're tying these guys up, which is good. And this round, I think we got the 20-minute call or whatever it was. So there isn't much time left in the game, which was good for me. And I think also at this point, yeah, so this was the round where I actually killed enough dwarves to break them. But there is, I forget who has the board-wide stand fast, but they have a board-wide stand fast, so honestly it didn't really matter. So this is an overview of the board after moving and everything is done. So this will be kind of going into round 9. So you can see the Great Beast's final position here, and he actually ended up killing the Shadow Lord as well as 6 other orcs, so that sucks. But I mean, all my other guys are kind of spread out here, and the beast isn't dead yet, and he's worth 11 models, right? So the 9 plus the commander on top, and he's worth 1 himself. So that alone means that he is easily contesting this quarter, because this is all the dwarves that are in that quarter. So that's nice. And I'm holding up these guys right here, keeping them from moving at all. And remember, I have a... Oops. My face is in the way again. So I have a couple of orcs that are down over this way. Round 9, basically we get the 5-minute call, so we know this is going to be the last round, which was really good for me, honestly, because we're at the point where I'm starting to lose guys, and I'm not being able to keep up with the dwarves. And even though they're broken, he's not losing anyone because of the board-wide stand fast, right? So I'll move myself up there again. We can see I have my 2 orcs right here. I have everyone holding up in this combat. If you guys remember, Dylan had a goat rider that he just sent into this corner, so it's just been sitting there the whole game basically. I was thinking about wrapping the Witch King around and trying to kill it, but I thought it was probably a better idea to just hold up his dwarves that were right here. We can see that over here I just spread out to make it as hard as possible to for his dwarves to engage me and do anything about that while contesting that zone. He kind of started moving guys this way, but it's a little too late. And then over here with these guys, so the 12-inch mark is actually right basically at the edge of the bases of the dwarves right here. Anything past that is in the actual quarter. And what ended up happening is I lost this combat and got pushed back. Actually, I think it was kind of something like this. Because I lost this combat and got pushed back this way an inch, and that actually put my guys into the zone to be able to score while holding him up over here, which ended up being really beneficial for me. So other than that one combat, everything else was kind of just a wash, again, because this was our last round no matter what. So this is basically the final state of the game. I end up winning this one as well. It's a 9-1 victory for me, and it's because I double outnumber in this quarter, this quarter, this quarter, and then I actually tie him in this zone because this orc managed to be just outside of the 12 inches. So got pretty lucky there, and then the dwarves are broken and I am not. Once again, a pretty decisive victory for Mordor, and I will say, again, I got pretty lucky with this one, especially with the base defense 7 troops. This scenario was good for me, and it was really good that I got to bring in everything together, whereas his groups were spread apart quite a lot, and he ended up pretty close to me right at the beginning of the game. So I think that played a pretty big factor into why he lost this, and also just being the really slow dwarves. It just let me, like, even my basic orcs were running around him, and I was able to actually pick the combats that I wanted and, you know, kill his important models before he was able to do anything about it. So there you have it. Magic, once again, the ring wraiths carrying me. Great beast, not so much this time. Orcs doing what orcs do and dying. So pretty standard Mordor game as far as I'm concerned. Yeah, so that'll take us into game 3 and the last game of the day. So we'll see how we end up with that. If you like what you're watching, make sure to give us a like and subscribe. And we will hopefully see you guys again for the next battle report.